Hey, what's everybody? I'm gonna go over and show you guys what I'm gonna be up to, or what I've been up to. I wanted a rock archway, and I was like, well, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube on how to do it. Some people do it without some of the stuff that I've done, but I'll show you what abouts I'm doing. So right now I'm using this drill and drill bit, and this is a 1/2 inch drill, and I didn't know how deep I was going to go, so I just purchased one of these long ones. It's like 17 bucks at Home Depot, and I started drilling into this rock. And a couple of things: if you're going to drill, you might want to get, like, I got this cup of water, and to keep the bit cool, I'll just kind of dip it and then drill right here. Now I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. I'm just going to drill into the top of here. Hold on, let me. I'm doing this one-handed, so it's kind of a little screwy. But basically, you just kind of do this. Oh wait, it'd probably help if I plugged it in. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of wet the spot that you're going to drill, right? So you don't get it too hot, because if it gets too hot, it'll glaze, and then you'll never drill through it. But kind of just... And then what I do is I just dip it in here. Make sure it's dripping. Drip it back in that hole. I'm doing this one-handed, so it's kind of... Drip it. Now you're going to start seeing a little bit of smoke. You might not be able to see it, but it's because it got too hot. And this is the problem. You don't want it to glaze over. So while it's smoking a little bit, let me douse some water in there. Glug. Just drill it in. Yeah, you can't really tell too much on that smoke. Now you can see it. Okay. So you just kind of keep doing this. Right now I hit a hard spot, but you just keep doing this, and you'll eventually break through, and then you'll be able to drill even harder. Alright. So sometimes you're going to have hard spots, other times it's going to be easier, but what I generally do here is get some of that out. Get better lighting. I gotta get that debris out, but you start seeing that hole there, and once that hole is there, then you can see if I can flush that out. I'm not sure if I can or not. Well, it's hard to do it with one hand, but anyways, what you do is, where's my handy dandy, here we go. Okay, acrylic rod. So what I'll do, and I've already cut this end, but what I'll do is after I drill the hole, you just stick this rod in, and it'll anchor. Of course, I didn't get very deep, and I need to clean some of that trash out of there, but I can't do it right now. Anyways, to show you the kind of end result, let me move this. All right. Here's a hole that I drilled, and here's the acrylic rod. Now you'll notice that this one's bent, right? Sometimes when you start assembling, you'll, if this was straight, it would have been pointing like up, and I wanted it to arch. So what I did is I got this heat gun, and this heat gun you can get for 22 bucks at Home Depot's paint aisle. And what you do is you heat up this acrylic all the way around, and generally I put it on high, and then once it starts to melt a little bit, you're gonna want to use something metal or some heat gloves of some sort and kind of press it where you want it to go, and then you can kind of finagle it, and then once you get it where you want it, you blow on the bend. Now you can see where I went pretty aggressive with the heat gun and it bubbled. I'm not really too worried about it because I'll just cap these little areas. You see where this is at? Now naturally you'd be like, well, that doesn't look very good, but you can just use the pieces of rubble like so, or you can epoxy and get it looking nice. Now that's acceptable to me because coralline algae will grow over it, so I'm not really too worried about that. And I did the same thing over here. Here's another part. I actually had this as a whole arch, but I feel a lot more comfortable with this kind of weight in the water, and the water will displace how much weight the rock will push down. So giving it a little bit of buoyancy helps. So I already did the archway here, and I took a snapshot of it, but I'm gonna wait until I fill up the tank for the buoyancy to kind of let some of the load off. Plus I have some tweaking to do, which I may do inside the tank. I just kind of roughed it in. So it'll be here, then it goes here, kind of like a flat area like this, and you can see where it's trying to bend down, and then I got a hole there, and then I use this to kind of bring it the rest of the way down, you see, and then you'll have a nice arch. Of course these things are kind of heavy, so I wasn't not too happy with it without some sort of water to displace it. Some other things that might help you. Some things wouldn't grip right for me, like they would twist or spin. So what I would do is I would take my angle grinder, and of course I got tile. I did some tile work already, but I took a diamond blade that I used for this porcelain tile, and I just said screw it, and I just went, you know, just cut into it and made little jags so that they would fit like puzzle pieces. That's a hacksaw. I used it on the acrylic rod for one cut and said screw this. So anyways, just to let you know, you can kind of just make a few jagged areas, and then you see like this delta over here. You can see where it just kind of where it fits in, and I only have one hand right now, so all right. But I just wanted you guys to see how I was building this, and maybe you have better ideas on how to do it. But this is a 1/2 inch acrylic rod. I originally had tried, I ordered 1/4 inch at first, and I was like, oh man, this thing, it's no thicker than a straw, like a McDonald's straw, and it'll snap. So I mean, imagine having something the weight of like 5 or 10 pounds weighting it. It doesn't take long before it'll snap. I mean, you can already see it bend a little bit. You can get any of these, and it just yeah, that's gonna snap. Now, one other thing that I did was I wanted to make a rock wall, or not a rock wall, but put it up against the glass, and just kind of have this. So this archway would go around, and then like underneath, I'd have up against the glass something like this. I'm gonna see how it looks. This is all experimental, and But what I did was I took some PVC pipe, drilled some holes for this 1/4 inch acrylic, and I'm going to use some flat rock and just kind of cover this whole thing. And then in the back, I got these at Home Depot. They had hangers in them, but I took them out and drilled a hole and then used hot glue to kind of just smear it in there. And you still see the hot glue. And go from there. And of course I want to cover up this pipe. Now this is experimental. I don't know how well this is going to look, but it was a cool idea. So if you guys want, you might, and you want to have maybe some sort of green star polyps or something away from everything, you just suction this up to the glass, put the rocks on top of it, and get it away from your main rock so it doesn't invade everything. Anyways, that's all I got. You know, I think next time will be when I start rinsing out my sand and filling it up with water. And till then, happy YouTubing.